Hans Hat. This video is going to be very quick because just there's one point that I want to make, and I think everybody just needs to stop using the shill pushed flat earth map. And so here I'll read this. This guy made a relatively good model. The dome above us is too big for us to visualize it from our perspective, so what we see is an optical projection of the dome to a sort of like a smaller dome, like a dome of our visibility. Hence, sometimes sun can appear behind the clouds or in the sea because it's just a projection. And here's the picture. And I think, yeah, it could be something just like this, where each individual person has a dome of sight around them, and we might be seeing projected images from the larger dome above us. But it just, whenever I see this map, I can't help but cringe, and I know it's fake, and I know it's an inversion. And all that you need to know about it is when people came out with flat earth, there was no discussion over a map. Everybody just throws this one out and says, oh, look, it's the same thing as the UN. This is the map. This is the map, guys. This is the map. Total consensus. And I don't think this is the map at all. I think it's an inversion, like they always do. And what I mean by that is this map is inside out. Now, this is going to have some stretching. I'm not saying that this is a perfect map, but this just gives you an idea of what I mean by inside out. Notice on this one, the north is the very inside of the map. And it's small. It looks small. The north is all scrunched together and small on the inside of the map. And then look how far apart Australia and South America is. But then notice on this map, the south is the center and the north is around the outside. And that's what I think is more likely the truth. And here's my comment that talks about some of the reasons. That model looks right. However, their flat earth map is inside out. The north is the cold ice wall. No way Australia and South America, which are hot, are out by the ice wall. And somehow the center is all icy, huge, immense expanses of iciness. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. The north is the outer ice wall. That's why there's so much land in the north, and it's an icy wasteland. How is all of that supposed to be crammed into the very center of flat earth? And then we're supposed to believe that in the south, there's tons and tons of open ocean and then a huge wall of ice out there somewhere? Because that's what this is. Just nothing but huge, immense expanses of open ocean in the south. And then I guess a huge ice wall. And then what? All of Siberia? We know that Alaska is huge. These land masses are huge, and you're telling me that they're supposed to be crammed into the very center? No. So I think that this is what it is. Or closer to this. This has a lot of smushing around the edges, but I just think that this is a much better, much closer representation. And then there's scripture that supports this. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 13. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. If the north is the very center, it doesn't really make sense to have sides of the north. But if the north is the outer ice wall, okay, that makes sense. And here's just another one that says sides of the north, which makes more sense if the north is the outside. There's no sides of a center. There's actually a lot of verses that talk about North Country. Maybe that's, I don't know, I don't talk about Tartaria, but maybe that's kind of what they're talking about. There's actually a lot of Bible verses that talk about North Country. A people cometh from the North Country, and a great nation shall be raised from the sides of the earth. This, I also think, shows that the north is the outside. He stretcheth out the north over the empty place, and hangeth the earth upon nothing. If the north is the very center, that doesn't make sense to be stretched out on the empty place. However, if the north is the outside, the perimeter, this makes complete sense. And yeah, I guess I'll just say here, everybody just assumes that this is right. They're not going to present you with the truth. They'll always give you an inversion. Another thing that doesn't get talked about, and it's so hard to look up information on this, which is something that you notice when you wake up and you try to research certain things. You're like, why can't I find information on this? In the very far south, compasses stop working. At least this is something that I've read about. It's so hard to find information on this, but I've read before, I've heard before that if you're in the very, very far south, a compass stops working. But I've never heard about that in the far north, that a compass stops working. Well, okay, so this wouldn't make sense. Let's go back to the right picture. The reason that a compass would stop working in the very far south, which would be the center in here, is because a compass points you to the outer wall, to the north. A compass points you to the north, the outer wall. So if you're in the center, the outer wall is kind of all around you. So that's why your compass is going to spin or not work. If you're really far north, the compass will still work because there's still a fastest way to get to the outer wall. So that's just another thing I've thought about compasses, and I've heard that that compasses stop working in the south. So why is this just accepted? Look how small the iciness is, okay? There's much more ice in the north than here. It's because this is an inverted map. Look at all the ice on the outside. That's how it really is. I'll leave it at that, but this is, I cringe whenever I see people using the fake flat earth map. Think for yourself, read the Bible. It's probably something more like this. And one thing I've noticed is that in this map, doesn't America, United States, kind of looks like an eagle carrying, like, these are its talons, carrying like a prey. South America's like a prey. Kind of looks like an eagle. All right, hope you guys enjoyed. God bless everybody.